Wow. You know, it's such a treasure to be here, and I feel like with 2019 being what it is, with the government shutdown, it was one of those moments where I asked my team, I said, you know, can we give free tickets to federal workers? Um, you know, it's, and the funny thing about right now, where we've had this surreal situation with the troll in chief going on here, um, is that you realize the 2016 election was one of the first elections where things like computational propaganda and the idea that how people's taste and preferences and the way they identify themselves digitally reflected their interior mechanisms of choice, and of course that were then targeted by groups like Cambridge Analytica and so on. So here we are in a really beautiful hall, Yerba Buena Center, and I want to say thank you to people like Brewster and to Emiko for helping us think about the impact of 50 years of digital culture. It's, you know, the Internet Archive is an incredible resource, and I highly recommend, if you haven't had a moment, to check it out. Just remember, you're only as good as your archive. That's what I think the DJ's motto is: how many records you collect, what kind of records. So tonight is kind of DJing their archive. But I'm going to be up here with software, and so anyone who's a purist out there, we can get the vinyl later. So just stay tuned. So I do want to introduce everyone on stage because there's some incredible energy going on. If we can get the San Francisco Girls Chorus in the mix here. Yep. And Valérie is their director, so she's, you know. And we also have another incredible San Francisco force of nature, Classical Revolution. So if we can give them. I'm so honored to be here tonight. And tonight is a really, I think, kind of a reflection of our time. And I really feel like that 50 years, I'm 48, so I'm grandpa for DJ culture here. But, you know, when I was born in 1970, it was a powerful situation with, of course, so many of the images and the things you're going to see tonight. But the other thing is that notions of how we communicate and the speed and acceleration and density of our time, these are things that many writers like James Gleick, if you haven't checked his work out, the information, it's a big influence on my thinking. Also John Cage's work with the experiments in art and technology with Robert Rauschenberg. Oh, all right. We have some art lovers, all right. You know, those are things that also think about the idea of polyphony, polyrhythm. Those are going to be informing motifs, and I'm looking forward to unpacking the evening with you all afterwards. So please stay tuned. Afterwards, we're going to have some wonderful mathematicians, scientists, artists come up, and we're going to have a dialectic, a kind of conversation. So I guess we're ready to get started. So if we can have, we're going to have a hero for me. I'm going to let him introduce himself, but we're going to have someone who I think you should know introduce the rest of the show. So here we go.
We've just entered a historic site here at UCLA. This location is where the internet began, and it began with that piece of equipment. That's the first piece of equipment ever put on the internet. It's what you call a router today. This was 1969. In October of 1969, we had this first switch here at UCLA, and by October, we had the second switch up at Stanford Research Institute. The experiment we wanted to perform was to send a message up to SRI. Now, what kind of a message should we send? A really good one, like Armstrong from the moon, he said, "A giant leap for mankind"? Or Samuel Morse, "What hath God wrought"? Or Alexander Graham Bell, "Come here, Watson, I need you"? Those guys were smart. They understood public relations and media. We were nerds. We didn't have a message prepared. All we wanted to do was log in from here to SRI. To do that, you have to type L-O-G, and that machine will type the IN. So we're ready to go. Type the L, you get the L, got the L. Type the O, you get the O, got the O. Type the G, you get the G. Crash. The SRI machine crashed. So the first message ever on the internet by accident was low, as in lo and behold. We couldn't have asked for more prophetic, more powerful, more succinct message than that. So here we are years later, and this machine and that message launched what you now call the internet. And here we see the first router, the first piece of equipment of the internet ever. Let's look inside. This machine is so ugly, it's beautiful. And there it is, technology from 1969. This is the machine that launched the internet. So I'd like to welcome you tonight to DJ Spooky's Entertainment.